Welcome to this evening's presentation for Gateway Community Power. If you're joining us by Zoom, please note the following directions. Use speaker view to see the full program screen. Your microphone and camera will be off. And if you would like to ask a question, please use the chat feature. The chat will be enabled so that you can contact the host directly. Okay, my name is Susan Hughes Smith, and I am one of the 4 partners at Rocktricity. Rocktricity is the local program manager for the Gateway Community Power Program, which includes the City of Canandaigua and the Village of Victor. Community Choice Aggregation requires an administrator, and Jewel Assets is the Public Service Commission approved administrator that was selected by these communities. So here's your logo for Gateway Community Power and the website where you can keep track of the developments for this program. This evening, I'm going to review 2 features of the clean energy program that is being advocated and implemented in the Gateway Community Power Program. Those 2 options include Community Choice Aggregation and Community Solar. And you can see from the graph that both these programs share the same advantages, that they reduce carbon emissions and electricity costs while protecting consumers. And so you, as a member of Gateway Community Power, you are able to participate in either one of these programs or both, or neither. So we're going to review the advantages of each opportunity. And I will start with the Community Choice Aggregation. Okay, so first I'm going to go over what is Community Choice Aggregation, what are the benefits of this program, what organizations can implement CCA, and how it works. Then we'll take a little brief break and ask any questions that you may have about Community Choice Aggregation. And again, if you're joining us by Zoom, you'll want to use the chat feature. Then we'll resume and discuss Community Solar and how that integrates into these programs. So first, we find it helpful to take a little step back and think about the big picture. New York State has some aggressive goals. They recently passed the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, which will require our state to get to 70% renewable energy by 2030. This diagram shows you where we are today for our region. So if you were to go to this website that the EPA has, this Power Profiler website, and you put in your zip code, in our section of the grid, RG&E as the utility, this is the mix that we have of the electrons entering onto our grid. So anytime we turn on our lights or so forth at home or in the offices, the odds are that 1/3 of those electrons are coming from fossil fuels, about 1/3 from nuclear, about 1/3 from hydro, and only 7% from renewables. So you can see we have quite a way to go to reach our new goal of 70% renewable by 2030. And the state of New York is depending upon programs like Community Choice Aggregation and Community Solar to move us in that direction. When we get our bills, which is what most of us are familiar with when it comes to our energy use, you should notice that there's both a delivery section and a supply section on your bill. And the delivery is the part of the bill that is related to the services of the utility. So RG&E has to take care of our wires, and they provide services to us. And that is the section of the bill labeled delivery services. And you'll see a number of different types of charges that help them cover their costs. What community choice aggregation is focused on is the supply services. That is, where are the electrons actually coming from? Right now, New York State is a deregulated state. So your utility does not generate the electrons, but is the default supplier. If you don't make your own choice, RG&E is required by law to purchase electricity on your behalf. Community choice aggregation moves that decision. It moves the default selection to your community so that they have control perhaps over pricing and also sourcing of the electricity. So community choice aggregation is a way to improve the supply portion of your bill, but it will not impact the delivery portion of your bill, just like it will not impact the role of the utility. So here's another diagram to emphasize how our electric system works. As I was mentioning, we have generators, right? So we have this traditional generation mix, and the yellow line is showing how the electrons are moving. The utility is making the purchase on our behalf, and the utility is transporting those electrons to the customers. Okay, sometimes about 15% of New Yorkers have already chosen their own energy supply broker. And so they're the ones that are making the purchase, and the utility is still delivering those electrons to our homes and businesses. The green lines are showing us how our money is flowing. So the customers, of course, pay our bills, and we pay a delivery and a supply portion to that bill. The utility keeps the delivery portion of the bill and sends the money on to any energy supply brokers who may have, customers may have already selected. Okay, they'll keep any portion that would apply to their purchases, and they send on to ESCOs anything that would be appropriate. So it ends up looking like this, and this is just the regular system. You have the electrons flowing in yellow from the generators to us, transported through the wires, and the money then flows back in the other direction to everyone involved. So community choice aggregation was authorized by the Public Service Commission in New York State in 2016, but we are not the first state to implement this program. We're about the 7th state to do so, and every state has its own rules regulating the energy industry, and also their own rules related to community choice aggregation. So the Public Service Commission is allowing municipalities to aggregate the energy demand of the residents and the small businesses, and then to negotiate for that bulk purchase of energy. It's simply moving the selection of the default supplier from the state, telling the utility that they have to make that decision, to the local municipality. And all energy customers are eligible to participate in this program, but some customers are automatically in the program, and that's called opt-out treatment. So what determines whether you are opt-out or whether you have to choose to join is your meter classification. Basically, how much energy you use at any different time of day. There are a number of parameters, and so most residents and small businesses have the service classification that would allow them to be automatically included in a CCA program, whereas your very large energy users would have to choose to join. So again, here's the picture we were looking at without CCA. How the electrons are flowing along those yellow lines from the generators to the customers, and then how we pay our bills in return. And let's think about now what happens when we add CCA in as an option. So you can see what we're hoping to occur is to shrink that traditional generation mix and to increase the renewable portion. It simply adds perhaps one more energy supply broker, maybe one that people are already using today, okay? And a small amount of money is then also going to the CCA administrator, and that is not a fee that anyone except the ESCOs will be aware of, because it is a part of the price of the electricity itself. So the benefits of community choice aggregation are several. One is it enables the local selection of the default supplier. So communities that want to meet clean energy goals, that are concerned about climate change or sustainability, may want to control where the electricity is being purchased from. And there are opportunities that our state is going to have available for communities that implement renewable CCA programs. And those offerings come through NYSERDA. Another advantage is the reduced electric rates for residents and small businesses. You can see in the graph that the market fluctuates. The electric market goes up and down from one month to another, and the utilities have to follow the market because they are making purchases on a regular basis, and they're not allowed to enter into long-term contracts. Those rules are different from CCAs. So we have the opportunity, and your community has the opportunity to go to bid for a fixed rate, which we think has an advantage for community members because it eliminates price volatility and allows a better predictability of cost. Our goal is to achieve a fixed rate that will beat the market rate over time. There is no guarantee with a CCA that it will save money because you're just making your best guess based on current conditions. But CCA programs have proven to save money for residents and small businesses, CCA programs that have been implemented in New York State thus far, and we hope to continue that trend. A fourth advantage is that this mechanism can accelerate the transition to renewable energy. And that's simply because the more we demand as consumers, the more we demand to purchase renewable energy, it sends that signal to the marketplace that this is a commodity that people want. And over time, more renewable energy will be generated. So who can authorize CCAs? Then that authority is left to the lowest level of government that you live in. So for the Gateway Community Power Program, we have the City of Canandaigua has gone through the process to authorize CCA, and the Village of Victor has gone through the process to authorize a CCA. And what that entailed was the passing of a local law. And that local law simply enables the community to consider their options. And so when we present a bid, an electric bid to those municipalities, they will have the choice of whether to move forward with implementing the program or not. So the Village of Victor and the City of Canandaigua are moving forward with that process. And the more municipalities that work together, the larger your bulk buying power becomes. And so what's a great opportunity for us is that when we go to bid for the Gateway Community Power, we will also be going to bid for a similar program in Monroe County. So with all these municipalities aggregated together, we will really be able to influence the purchasing in the marketplace. So the Public Service Commission has allowed for the aggregation of electric supply, gas supply, or both. But because we are focused on sustainability and the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions and other pollutants, the Gateway Community Power Program is focusing on the electric supply at this time. So customers will be enrolled in an opt-out basis, at least those customers that are qualified to do so. So any customer that doesn't have a hold on their account or has not selected an ESCO of their own already, and that is the right service meter class, being a resident or a small business, those customers will be enrolled automatically. If someone chooses not to participate, we are required to make that a free and easy process. And we are very optimistic that we will implement a 100% renewable electricity supply product as the default choice. And that's significantly different, of course, than what we currently purchase if the utility is purchasing on our behalf. Right now, it's only about 37%, 39% renewable. Here is a chart where I would like to emphasize to you what the difference is for customers, what you have available to you with CCA and without CCA. So first of all, right now, you may have the utility, RG&E, purchasing electricity on your behalf. In fact, that's the default situation in our area. Well, you could still do that. If you really just prefer the utility to take care of that for you, that's fine. You would just opt out of the CCA. Some people, about 15% of people, have already chosen their own ESCO supplier because some people are really concerned about wanting to source wind energy, for example. So they may have already made a choice. Well, you can still stay with your own ESCO if you really would like to. You cannot be automatically included in a CCA program if you have already chosen an ESCO. Okay, if you are in the CCA program and you decide, oh, you want to support some other particular ESCO, you can opt out of the CCA and select that own ESCO supplier. So that's just another option. Finally, can you enjoy the bulk buying benefits? Well, that is something that's only available through the CCA program. It's not available without a CCA. And that has to do with the particularities of the regulations around purchasing and whether you can have long-term contracts or not. And so the CCA program has the ability to use the market and to leverage the bulk buying purchase to secure electric purchasing for an extended period of time. Okay, so we're going to pause here. I've talked quite a bit about community choice aggregation, and your program in Canandaigua is called Gateway Community Power, and your website is showing here where you can check regularly for updates. Are there any questions at this time?
No, Sue, no questions coming in on chat.
Okay, moving forward then. We started the program emphasizing that there are two clean energy opportunities that Gateway Community Power will be working on. We discussed the community choice aggregation, and now I want to turn our attention to community solar. Again, both of these programs can reduce carbon emissions and electricity costs while protecting consumers. You can participate in both programs, neither program, or just one of the programs. These are all just additional options. So community solar is a solar power plant or a farm, if you will, serving many customers, and it's got to be located in the same utility territory as the customers. So this solar farm doesn't have to be in your city or in your town, but it does need to be within RG&E service territory. And it provides subscribed customers benefits in the form of monetary credits on your electric bill. The customers would then pay for the credits on a second bill from the solar company. So this is an opt-in program. Subscribers would need to choose to participate, which is different from the CCA, right? So because right now there are two bills associated with community solar, one is the utility bill where you see the savings, and then one is the solar company bill where you get the charge for the solar energy. Because you have to receive two bills, the program will move forward as an opt-in program where subscribers are choosing to participate. It is important to note that community solar is often referred to as community distributed generation, or CDG. And the reason why it's good to recognize that term is because when you get the credits on your utility bill, it will say CDG, not community solar. So that's how you know that you are receiving those credits. So typically, community solar programs save customers money on their electric bill, and it saves over the entire bill, both the delivery and the supply part of the bill. It's just a subtraction off of that bill. Programs that have rolled out so far typically show savings between 5 to 10%. Our program will be targeting that 10% savings. We want to maximize savings for customers, and that's our goal, is to get as close to that 10% as possible. And I say it's a goal simply because it's tricky. Our consumption as consumers varies from month to month, and the solar production varies from month to month for a couple of different reasons. And so we are aiming to get as close to that 10% as possible, and it is a guaranteed savings. And that's simply as a result of the way the program has been structured from the regulatory end. It has to save customers money. So again, customers would have to choose to participate in community solar. There would be an enrollment process. And your city would be able to support one, maybe more solar projects in the region. And one of the really exciting features is that as more people demand community solar, we get more renewable energy coming onto the grid directly. So every new solar farm that's created is new renewable energy entering our grid. So questions related to community solar?
No, there's still no questions coming in on the chat, Sue.
Okay, thank you, Ben. So just kind of to emphasize, as a review, we are launching two different programs, two opportunities in the Gateway Community Power Program. The first is Community Choice Aggregation. It's an electricity purchase program where the municipality is choosing the default supplier. The goal is to reduce electric rates, purchase 100% renewable electrons, and to have a fixed rate or a flat rate to reduce volatility. This program is opt-out, so eligible customers are in unless they take an action. It will be easy to opt out. And this program, the goal is to save customers money, but it is not a guaranteed savings. It's our best expectation based on market conditions. Community solar, however, is a guaranteed savings. It's also an electricity purchase program. It's the community chooses a local solar project to support. Customers save hopefully close to 10% on their electric bill. It's creating more local solar development, and the way our program is structured is it will create money for municipalities to move forward with other sustainability projects. When we launched in the town of Geneva, they were able to earn $25,000 to put towards protecting Seneca Lake. The community solar program is opt-in, so eligible customers have to choose to join. Customers can participate in either program, neither program, or both. The choice is yours. Of course, participating in both programs gives you the full benefit of the clean energy program. Both programs are compatible with budget billing, if that is something that you like to make use of. So if you're interested in helping, we would love your help spreading the word. Tell your friends and neighbors about Gateway Community Power. You can engage with us on social media. There's a Facebook page for Gateway Community Power and our Rocktricity Facebook page. And you could help us identify other places where we might be able to give this presentation. So the next steps, the CCA details are being developed, and we will be going to bid to secure a price. If a price is secured, then there would be an opt-out letter. A letter would come to you from your municipality. It will be on municipal letterhead. That's how you would recognize it as the Gateway Community Power Program, is that the City of Canandaigua would be sharing that information with you. At that point, that triggers your decision. Do you want to stay in? Great. You don't have to do anything. Do you want to opt out? Then you would need to take an action. In that letter would be a mailing that you could return, or you could call us, or you could visit the website. All are easy ways if you choose not to participate. But of course, we hope that you will. After that, the utility will send another mailing confirming that you have been entered into an ESCO program. There will be many social media announcements, and the new supplier would be identified on your utility bill. We are expecting and hoping that that will be this fall. After that process, then we will have more outreach on our community solar opportunities. You would see another letter in the mail, again on municipal letterhead, describing that opportunity. So we look forward to serving your community in Gateway Community Power. You can reach any of us at Rocktricity. I've provided our phone number and our email address. You can also reach us through the Gateway Community Power website. And one last time, I'll leave this graphic up for you and ask if there are any questions.
Well, Sue, there are a couple of, I guess, questions here just to make a couple of points. One question has to do with whether or not customers can join a community solar project if they have panels on their roof already.
Oh, that's an excellent question. And unfortunately, the answer is no. And that's just the rules that New York State has established.
And one other question, maybe just to clarify, is RG&E moving to purchase more renewables because of these kind of programs?
So that's a great question. RG&E will be required to increase renewable purchasing, but not so much because of these programs, but because the state has required it. But that will move, those requirements are moving much more slowly. So the advantage of CCA is that your community can reach those sustainable goals much faster than if we just wait for the utility to do it.
Great. Well, that is all of the questions we have.
Fantastic. Well, thanks everybody for joining us this evening, and have a wonderful evening.